Okay, welcome to the deep dive. So, if you're learning English, maybe you're feeling a bit stuck, or perhaps you're just starting out and wondering how to make real consistent progress. Well, this one's definitely for you.
Yeah, it's a really common feeling, isn't it? How do
Yeah.
you actually carve out time for English practice when life is just, well, busy?
Exactly. It can seem like this massive mountain to climb. So, for this deep dive, we looked at a whole range of material, personal stories from learners, insights from, learning science, all focused on one thing: creating a daily routine that actually works and speeds up your English progress.
Right. And our goal today is to unpack why that daily rhythm is so powerful. And then the really practical part, how you can build one that fits your life. Not some ideal schedule, but something real. We've pulled out the key takeaways from everything we
To
reviewed.
give you the essentials, basically.
Exactly. And, the biggest thing that just kept popping up almost everywhere we looked, it's that daily habits, even tiny ones, are way more effective than, say, one huge study session on a weekend.
Simple and steady wins the race, kind of thing.
Pretty much. Consistency often beats intensity, especially if that intensity isn't sustainable.
Okay, let's dig into that first. Why? Why is doing something every day so much better for learning a language?
Well, it really boils down to how our brains work, how we learn and remember stuff. The sources consistently highlighted that our brains thrive on regular, repeated exposure. Little and often is the key.
Ah, like how we learned our first language, right? We weren't studying grammar books in the crib.
Exactly. You were just surrounded by it, hearing it, trying to use it every single day. Constant input.
So as adult learners, we're trying to mimic that, create our own little immersion bubble, even if it's just for short periods.
That's the idea. When you interact with English daily, even for 15 minutes, you keep those connections in your brain active. You're reinforcing things constantly. It makes recall easier.
And skipping days has the opposite effect.
Yeah, several personal accounts mention that. Skipping even a day or two made things feel rusty. Like your brain had to reboot that part. Daily practice keeps the engine warm, you know.
Okay, but here's the big but for so many people, myself included sometimes. That sounds lovely, but I am so busy. Where do I find the time?
That's the number one obstacle,
Yeah.
right? And the sources tackle it head on. The good news is the consensus isn't find 2 hours every day. Actually, quite the opposite.
Oh.
Many experienced learners found that short, really focused daily sessions were more beneficial than trying to block out like a whole Saturday morning.
So it's not about the total volume of time necessarily, but the regularity, finding those little gaps.
Absolutely. Identify those overlooked moments, 15, maybe 20 minutes of focused English time done daily. The cumulative effect is huge. We saw examples like, using commute time while the kettle boils, during a lunch break.
Right, those little pockets.
Yeah, even just a few minutes before turning in at night. It adds up.
Could we maybe walk through a sort of hypothetical day, not like a strict prescription, but just to give people ideas on how this weaving in actually looks?
Sure, yeah, definitely adaptable. So imagine morning, maybe while you're having breakfast, just 5 or 10 minutes. Quick vocab review on an app like Anki or Quizlet. Stuff you learned yesterday.
Okay, simple enough. Then maybe on the commute or while getting ready. Instead, music, maybe an English podcast or the news in English.
Yeah, passive listening still counts. It's exposure.
Yeah.
Then lunchtime, maybe you read a short online article, watch a quick YouTube video. But, and this is key, make it something you're genuinely interested in. A hobby, news, whatever, not just a learning video.
Makes sense. Keeps it engaging. What about the evening?
Could be just a few minutes of active speaking. Talk to yourself. Describe your day out loud in English. Sounds weird, maybe, but it works.
Or record a voice note?
Perfect. Or A quick chat with a language partner if you have one. Then maybe before bed, something light, a chapter of a graded reader, or listen to an English audiobook for a bit.
See, when you break it down like that, it feels much less intimidating. It's not this huge block you have to magically create.
Exactly. It's integrated.
Yeah.
And that ties into another really powerful idea from the sources, creating an English environment.
Ah, surrounding yourself with it.
Yes. This came up again and again from people who made real breakthroughs. It's about making English just in present, even when you're not actively studying.
Like changing your phone language.
That's a classic one.
Correct? Yeah.
Phone, computer, follow social media accounts in English related to your interests, stick English labels on things in your kitchen, listen to English music in the background.
Feels like tiny things, but they add up to constant low-level exposure.
Totally. Over time, it amounts to hours and hours of passive input. You start noticing words, phrases without even trying. People described it as making English feel less foreign, more normal,
Mm.
which apparently helps speed things up a lot.
So we've got the daily habit, integrating it, creating the environment. When we are doing those focused mini sessions, what should we be, focusing on skills-wise?
Good question. The ideal routine, based on learning principles, touches on the four main skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
All four every day. That sounds like a lot for 20 minutes.
Right. Probably not all four every single day in a short routine, but the goal is to cover them regularly across the week. Maybe listening and speaking one day, reading and vocab the next, writing another day. Balance it out.
Okay, so how do we tackle those effectively in short bursts? Listening.
Well, passive listening like podcasts is easy to fit in. For active listening practice, maybe take a very short audio clip like 30 seconds and listen multiple times. Try to catch every word, or even try writing down one sentence you hear clearly. Focus intense for a short period.
And speaking. Always a scary one.
It is. But you just got to do it. Seriously, talking to yourself is underrated. Describe what you're doing as you're doing it. Okay, now I'm chopping the onions. Recording voice messages is great too. Listen back. Notice your own mistakes.
What about that shadowing technique?
Ah, yes. Shadowing came up.
Oh.
That's where you listen to a native speaker and try to repeat exactly what they say as they say it. Not just the words, but the rhythm, the intonation, the music of the language. Really good for pronunciation and fluency. Just need short clips.
Okay. Reading.
Find stuff at your level or just slightly challenging. Short news articles, blog posts, graded readers designed for learners. And a great tip was to read out loud sometimes.
Why out loud?
It connects the visual word to the sound, reinforces pronunciation, and helps with smoother speech flow. You're practicing multiple things at once.
Makes sense. And writing. How do you do that quickly?
Keep it simple. A really effective method mentioned was the sentence diary. Forget long journal entries. Just focus on writing one really good sentence each day. Maybe use a new word you learned or practice a specific grammar point. It forces you to be precise.
I like that. One perfect sentence. Okay, let's talk vocabulary and grammar specifically. How do we fit those in effectively?
For vocab, the overwhelming advice was, context is king. Don't just memorize lists of words. When you find a new word, write down the whole sentence you found it in.
Ah, so you see how it's used.
Exactly. Or, even better, write your own sentence using the word, ideally about your own life or experience. Research apparently shows that personal connection makes it stick way better. Aim for maybe 5-10 new words a day. Seems small, but it adds up incredibly fast.
Making it relevant to you. Got it. And grammar often feels like this huge, complex beast.
Totally. The advice is, don't try to swallow the whole grammar book. Pick one specific point, maybe a tense or prepositions or articles, and focus only on that for a few days or a week.
And then?
Then, just like with vocab, practice using it actively. Create maybe 5 or 10 sentences using that structure, again, relating them to your own life if possible. That takes it from being an abstract rule to something you can actually use.
Right, so it's usable knowledge, not just theoretical. This really all seems to circle back to integration and consistency, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Integration, tying English practice to things you already enjoy, like hobbies, movies, games, makes it sustainable long term. It stops feeling like a chore.
And consistency. We keep coming back to that.
Because it's fundamental. The sources hammered this home. 10 focused minutes daily is genuinely better for your brain than a 2-hour cram session once a week. Your brain needs that regular stimulus to build and maintain pathways.
Is there a trick to staying consistent?
One really practical tip that came up was habit stacking. Basically, linking your new English habit to something you already do automatically. Like, after I brush my teeth, I'll review 5 flashcards. Or, while the kettle boils, I'll read one news headline in English.
Ah, piggybacking on existing routines. Clever. What about tracking progress? Does that help?
Hugely motivating, according to the accounts we read. Doesn't need to be fancy. A simple note on your phone or in a notebook. Practice past tense, listen 10 minds, learn 3 words. Seeing that log grow over weeks, it's proof you are moving forward even on days you feel like you aren't.
That accountability and seeing the wins. And of course, making it fun. If it's boring, you'll just stop.
Non-negotiable, really.
Yeah.
Use materials you find genuinely interesting. Watch that cooking show in English, read about your favorite sport. Mix it up too. Try different apps, websites, find different people to talk to, keep it fresh.
Some people mentioned creating little English
Oh,
rituals.
yeah, like an English coffee break, where for 10 minutes you only read or listen to English. Or an
Yeah.
English walk, where you always listen to an English podcast. It gives the practice a bit more structure and, I don't know, it makes it feel a bit special.
And technology obviously plays a huge role here.
Oh, massive. There are amazing tools. Apps for spaced repetition vocabulary like Anki, language exchange platforms like HelloTalk or Tandem,
Yeah.
endless YouTube channels, news sites like BBC Learning English. The resources are incredible.
But they're just tools, right? The consistency still comes from you.
Exactly. The app won't do the work for you, but it can make the work easier and more engaging if you build it into that routine.
And the final piece of advice, maybe the toughest, patience.
Uh-huh. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Language learning takes time. You will have off days, you'll miss a day. It's okay. The crucial thing is just to get back to it the next day. Don't let one missed day become a missed week. Every little bit counts.
Okay, so let's recap the core ideas from this deep dive. Daily consistency is vital, even short sessions are powerful. Find ways to fit English into your existing life. Integrate it with your interests.
Right. Balance those 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, writing over the week. Be smart about vocab and grammar. Context and personalization are key.
Use tricks like habit stacking, track your progress for motivation, leverage technology, and definitely make it enjoyable for yourself.
And remember patience. But the absolute main takeaway, echoed everywhere: the best routine isn't some perfect template. It's the one you will actually stick with, the one that's sustainable for you.
Which kind of leaves you, the listener, with this thought. Don't spend ages hunting for someone else's perfect routine. Look at your life, your schedule, your energy levels, your interests. Design the simple routine that fits you. Start small, be consistent, and build from there. That's where the real progress happens.